Hey everybody, it's Chris and Des Show. I'm Chris.
And I'm Des.
And today we're going to talk to you about Echo in the Canyon, a music documentary about all the groups that came about in like the 60s, 70s era in Echo Canyon.
Yeah, Laurel Canyon?
Laurel Canyon in California. So groups like the Beach Boys and the Mamas and the Papas, and there's just so many good groups at this time. Des, what'd you think?
I could not love a movie more than I love this movie. It was so interesting. First of all, it was the music groups that we had been just mentioned. But then the storytelling I thought was really good. Mm-hmm. And it went into how all these musicians came to this area and then started working with each other and bouncing off each other, and this song turned into that song and this, and they were all hanging out together, and it was so interesting. I really recommend. You're going to have a hard time maybe finding it, and maybe it's on iTunes or something like that. I really recommend it. It's so interesting, especially if you like music from that era. It's really good. What did you think?
Yeah, loved it. And it's interesting because it goes back. I didn't realize this, but oh shoot! What's his name? The lead guy who talked to the most. Jakob Dylan, right?
Oh, yeah. It's Bob Dylan's son who kind of, I think, underwent telling the story in the first place.
Right.
Like putting this documentary together and everything.
And he had put on a kind of a concert, in a sense, of all these songs from the Byrds and from the Mamas and the Papas and from Buffalo Springfield and the Beach Boys. And so kind of melding them all together.
So there's some concert footage of that in the movie.
And it's like him and Beck and Fiona Apple singing these songs now. Yeah. And then listening to the actual artist, and oh shoot, my brain is not working about names. But
it's been a while since it's been out.
Michelle Phillips from the Mamas and the Papas. Yeah. She to me was the Mamas and Papas is my favorite of these groups personally, probably. Even though I love the Beach Boys too. I love the Beach Boys. Okay, fine. But they're like her telling stories about like, oh, and we came to do our first record, and he asked her like, oh, what songs did you have for your tryout, like for your audition? She's like, California Dreamin', Go Where You Wanna Go, Monday. He's like, oh, so some good songs then for your audition. Like, yeah, like three of the most like classic, iconic songs from that time. And no wonder you got your record deal, right? And then they just talk about how they made it. And it is really interesting to hear like the influence of the Beach Boys in the Mamas and the Papas, the Mamas and Papas in the Byrds and the Byrds in the like stuff. And even Ringo Starr talks about the Beach Boys' influence in the Beatles and how they loved the Pet Sounds album and how you can hear those in their later albums, the Beach Boys being a big influence. And I love, I forget who it is that says it, one of the older rockers. Oh, David Crosby says it. David Crosby says...
He's candid in this.
And really good. And he says, like, it was cool because everybody was so, like, fight the system. And he goes, except the Beach Boys were really the most, like, if you were trying to stick it to the man, they were the man music you possibly could have, mainstream pop. But their songs were so good. And he's like, that's true. They just had good songs, and everybody loved them.
And because it was Bob Dylan's son doing this, he got amazing access to these artists who probably wouldn't talk to anybody else, but they'll talk to Bob Dylan's son. Right. And it was so good.
Yeah, Eric Clapton and all these, Lou Adler, all these people
just come out of the woodwork to talk to him. And it's really great.
It's a great documentary. If you like that time period, I will say this is the year for good music documentaries. It's been fantastic. So go see it if you like that type of music. It's enjoyable.
Yeah, go find it and rent it. It's really good.
Bye.
Bye.